All right, welcome to the deep dive. Today we are diving into something pretty cool,
Yeah.
how our bodies and minds can kind of work together to make learning stick better.
Uh-huh.
We've got an interesting article from the Educational Psychology Review. It's called Sequencing Tracing with Imagination.
Okay.
And I think this could be like a little secret weapon for
Yeah.
everybody out there to learn more effectively and kind of like
Yeah.
sidestep that feeling of being totally overloaded with information, you
Mhm.
know?
Absolutely. This study looks at some fascinating ideas from cognitive load theory.
Okay.
And you know how sometimes you read something
Yeah.
and it just doesn't quite sink in?
Right.
Well, this research digs into two big ideas, the tracing effect
Okay.
and the imagination effect,
Okay.
and how these two might actually team up to make learning way more efficient.
I like that. So tracing effect, let's unpack that a bit. The article mentions those
Yeah.
Montessori sandpaper letters.
Oh, yeah.
You know, those textured letters that kids use to learn the alphabet?
Yeah.
They feel them.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is kids often trace these letters with their eyes open first.
Uh-huh.
And then this is the cool part. They close their eyes and trace the shape in their mind.
Right, exactly. And that actually gives us a clue about why this tracing effect might be so helpful.
Oh,
When you physically engage with the material, like actually tracing a letter,
yeah.
it seems to create a much stronger sensory experience. It's almost as if
Yeah.
your muscles are learning too.
Interesting. So,
Yeah, and then we have the imagination effect. This suggests that if you already have some basic understanding, like a foundation to build on,
Right.
what the study calls sufficient prior knowledge,
uh-huh.
actively picturing the information in your mind
Right.
can be even more powerful than just passively reading it or reviewing it. It's about engaging those mental frameworks that you already have.
So it sounds like the researchers didn't just look at tracing
Right.
or just imagining things on their own. They kind of
Yeah.
combine them.
They did. They got really clever about this. They wanted to see what happens when you combine these two.
Okay.
So they had one group that didn't do any tracing at all,
Okay.
and then another group that traced these worked out examples, like practice problems, with their eyes open.
Right.
But here's the really innovative part. They had a third group
Okay.
that first traced those examples with their eyes open, and then they traced them again with their eyes closed. It's like they were bridging that gap between the physical action of tracing and the mental picture in their mind.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So how did they measure whether this combo of tracing and imagination
Uh-huh.
was actually helping people learn? What were they looking at?
So they focused on three main things.
Okay.
First, they asked the students how motivated they felt, like how interested they were in the material,
Okay.
how much they enjoyed the actual process of learning.
Yeah.
Then they measured something called cognitive load.
Cognitive load.
Yeah. Cognitive load theory basically looks at how much mental effort your brain's using to learn something.
Okay.
So the researchers wanted to see if these tracing techniques made learning feel easier or harder.
Right.
And finally, and probably most importantly, they tested how the students could actually solve problems related to what they had learned.
So like a test to see.
Exactly. A real practical measure of their understanding.
Okay. Let's jump into what happened in that first experiment when they tried out these different tracing methods.
Absolutely.
What'd they see?
Well, the first experiment actually confirmed what earlier research had already kind of suggested,
Okay.
that this tracing effect, just the basic tracing,
Yeah.
really does work.
Okay.
The students who traced with their eyes open were better at solving problems afterwards
Mm-hmm.
compared to the students who didn't trace at all.
Okay.
It's like physically interacting with the information helps it solidify in your brain.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you're trying to learn a new dance. Physically doing the move, like going through the motions,
Yeah,
makes it stick way better than just watching someone else.
exactly. You're totally right.
So what happened when they added that second step of closing your eyes and imagining the tracing?
Right.
Did that change anything?
This is where it gets really exciting.
Okay.
What they found was that the group who did that sequence tracing, eyes open, then eyes closed,
Uh-huh.
they actually said they felt way more motivated, way more interested in learning
Mm-hmm.
compared to the group that just traced with their eyes open.
So they were enjoying the process more.
Exactly. It seems like that extra step of mentally picturing it, of imagining it,
Yeah.
made the learning process more engaging,
Awesome.
more enjoyable.
So not only were they learning better, they were also having more fun doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
What about that mental effort, though, that cognitive load?
Yeah.
Did adding the imagination part make their brains feel more tired?
This might surprise you, but the study found that the cognitive load, that sense of how much mental effort they were using,
Okay.
was basically the same across all the tracing conditions.
Wow.
So this is a big deal because it means that the extra benefit they got from the sequence tracing, that boost in motivation,
Yeah.
didn't come at the cost of making the learning process feel harder
Interesting.
or more stressful.
Okay, so just to recap, the first experiment showed that simple tracing led to better problem solving.
Yeah.
And the sequence tracing with imagination led to more enjoyment.
Uh-huh.
So then they did a second experiment. What did they find in that one?
So the second experiment mostly backed up what they saw in the first one.
Okay.
It showed, again, that the sequence tracing with imagination really helps students do better on those problem-solving tests.
So it wasn't just about feeling good.
No.
It actually helped them learn more effectively.
Exactly. It translated into tangible improvement in their ability to use the information.
And what about the motivation levels in the second experiment? Did they see that same jump?
Well, in the second experiment,
Yeah.
they did see a trend toward higher motivation in that sequence tracing group,
Okay.
but it wasn't quite as strong of a result.
Got it.
It didn't reach what researchers call statistical significance.
Statistical significance, right?
Yeah, statistical significance basically means how confident the researchers are that the result wasn't just a fluke.
Right.
So while they saw the trend, they couldn't be as certain about the motivation boost in the second experiment.
So sometimes in research you get these
Yeah,
little variations
Yeah.
between different studies.
absolutely. It happens. Research is messy sometimes.
Right. And that cognitive load, that mental effort thing,
Yeah.
stayed pretty consistent across all the groups in the second experiment, too.
You got it.
Yeah.
Just like in the first experiment, they didn't find any big differences in cognitive load between the different tracing methods. This consistency across both studies really strengthens the idea that this combo of physical and mental engagement can be a really powerful way to learn
Right.
without making your brain feel fried.
Okay, so big picture, taking all of this together,
Yeah.
what are the key things we as listeners should take away from all of this research?
I'd say the biggest takeaway here is the potential of this combo.
Yeah.
A simple physical action tracing
Right.
paired with a little bit of focused mental imagery.
Okay.
So you physically trace something you're learning,
Yeah.
and then you picture it in your mind's eye with your eyes closed. This seems to be a really effective technique.
Interesting.
It can make learning more engaging and enjoyable,
Okay.
and it can actually help you understand and apply the information better.
So if you're like me and always looking for ways to learn new things better
Yeah,
without feeling overwhelmed by hours and hours of studying,
right.
this sounds like a pretty handy tool.
It is.
It's a pretty low-tech, very accessible way to connect with the material and help it really stick
Uh-huh.
without feeling like you're having to push yourself mentally super hard.
Exactly. It's a very practical, almost hands-on approach to learning.
Literally, yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And it seems to align really well with how our brains naturally process and remember information.
I like it. So as we wrap up this deep dive into tracing and imagination,
Yeah.
let's recap that main point.
Hmm.
There seem to be some real benefits to actively engaging with your learning materials.
Mm-hmm.
So first, you physically trace things, and then you internalize that information through focused imagination.
Now, here's a thought for you. How could you actually use this in your own life?
Yeah.
Think about those times when you're reviewing notes,
Yeah.
or maybe trying to understand a complicated diagram,
Right.
or even when you're practicing a new physical skill.
Uh-huh.
Do you think incorporating this simple sequence, the physical tracing followed by mentally rehearsing it,
Right.
could help you understand better and remember things better?
That's a good point. Maybe the next time I'm stuck on something, I'll try actually tracing the key parts and then closing my eyes and visualizing it.
Give it a shot. You might be surprised.
Yeah. And that leads us to a final thought for everyone out there.
Yeah.
What other ways can we kind of bridge the gap between what we do with our bodies
Right.
and what's happening in our minds?
Yes.
You know, to really deepen our understanding of everything around us.
Yeah,
This study gives us a really interesting glimpse into that connection
it does.
and suggests that sometimes the simplest, most intuitive techniques
Yeah,
can be incredibly powerful.
for sure.
Really interesting stuff. Okay, that's it for the deep dive today. We'll see you all next time.